Hey guys, it's National Master Kevin Yang here with another video. In fact, this is a recent chess club members analysis of a game that we played on Friday. So, looking at the game, it was pretty smooth overall. I mean, I got to execute my plan and it went okay. Okay, so start with the game. E4, knight c6. Now, in one of my previous videos, I did mention that against the Nimzovich defense, I would suggest playing knight f3 to transpose back into this regular setup, right? Or, because the other way is d4, d5, take, knight f3, bishop g4, knight c3, queen a5, d5, castles, right? And it gets really tricky down the files. E6, pressure maybe, get the knight out. So that's why I don't suggest playing d4. You could play, for example, you could play knight c3, right? Or you could play g3, or b3, or d3, right? So here our chess club member plays d3, and it's not bad. I played d6. Now I can easily play d5, right? And that would be a good move too. But what I want to do is I want to get the setup down. I want to not take up that much space because I'm planning to expand on the king side, right? So he plays knight c3. I play g6. But I think better for me was just push the pawn to e5, control the center, right? And at the same time be able to prepare this a little bit better, right? So g6 happens, d4. Now notice this is my opponent pushed d3, but a few moves later he pushed d4 again. So always remember that if you make two moves with the same pawn in the opening, you probably messed up your setup a little bit. Now in this case, if you really wanted to push d4, if you don't push it, the thing is, you think your bishop is gonna not be able to develop to a great square, right? But I would suggest here you play, for example, g3, right? Get the bishop out this way, get the knight out, and just sort of copy my setup. Can you sort of notice that this pawn, this pawn, this pawn, this pawn, it's all symmetrical? The bishop's coming this way, the bishop's coming this way. So it's all symmetrical what we're doing. But this would have been a pretty good setup. But instead d4 played. And this is not a bad move either. It's just that it looked weird looking that you push the pawn once and then twice again. So I played e5. I wanted to provoke this push down here. That way I could bring this knight back, prepare this push a little bit better. So bishop g5 was played. And okay, I like the activeness. I like the active squares. But here I get to push it right away, right? So I decide to push it away. Plays bishop e3, right? So in this moment, I was thinking, do I want to push right away? Do I want to develop? Do I want to guard against this check? Right? Because he might check here. Do I want to push this pawn? And I thought all of them were great, so might as well just select one. So I selected one. Queen d2 is played. I developed. develop first, then castles happens. Okay, I was thinking, okay, I think this is going to be a pretty good game because he's going to be castling on the queen side, and I'm probably going to leave my king in the center. I'm going to try to expand this way and try to make my way through, right? So I play bishop d7. I want to first develop before I execute the pawn break. But I play bishop d7, and now white has a good move, f4. And the reason why f4 is great is because if I play f5, right, then you take on e5, and if I take this way, you notice that this pawn can be pushed, right? And then takes, queen takes, and there's so much pressure down here that I wouldn't play this position, right? So if I played f5 takes, now you wonder what would I do if I took with the bishop, right? Well, you develop this guy, right? And your threat by developing this is taking and the same plan with d6, right? So I'm going to play here, and then you can trade this bishop because this bishop is really strong right now, and you want to neutralize it with your bishop. So if I play knight f6, you push it in, right? You shove the bait into the turkey. You shove it in, and you want to win it. So in this case, you'd have a really good position as white. So then I would have to take, and then I might play f5. I don't know. I probably would play knight f6 in the position, and then just g5, get the knight out, get the queen out, and castle queenside. That's probably what I would do, but okay. I would say f4 is one of the better moves. But instead knight f3 came, right? And in this black setup, it's very flexible about how black proceeds, right? So there's a reason why black doesn't castle very early in this line, because either you go this way or you go this way. That's the goal. And so what I was thinking in this position is, do I want to push this pawn or do I want to push this pawn, right? So the thing is, you can create an attack here. Like, for example, if h3 plays, then you can play f5. E takes, g3 is played, right? And then you can get the knight out. And let's say bishop g2 comes, then you play b4, right? You use this pawn to attack the knight, and at the same time you're threatening to take this pawn. So this is the power of this opening, the flexibility to either go on this side, right? Or you can push on this side. So in this game, I just decided to push on this side. Takes, right? So I could think about many captures here. I could take with the bishop, I could take with the knight. And in fact, I think the knight is a really good capture as well. In fact, it may be the best because takes get the other knight out too. So that's really good as well. So maybe I should have played knight takes, and in fact, the engine does think it's the best move. So yeah, I decided to take with the pawn because I wanted to make my threat clear. My threat was to trap the bishop, right? So then queen d3 happened. And I thought, oh no, right? The fork. Just remember, these pawns next to each other, they're destined to push one way or another, right? They're going to find this glory. And unfortunately, in this moment, the pawn did get their glory early. Queen d2, takes the pawn, takes, knight g6. Now it's a matter of developing. Maybe the king goes here, maybe the knight goes here, maybe the queen comes out, maybe swing this rook over. It's all a matter of time now. Bishop d4, takes, queen f6. Now, remember one thing. Remember that when you're down on material, in this case, white is down a knight, right? Well, technically, there's a pawn for it, but let's just say down a knight, right? When you're down material, you usually don't want to trade. And in this case, it wouldn't be wise to trade as well. So I would say you could play something like queen c4, right? Try to just attack this pawn, keep some pressure. And even if I castle, just play on rook g1, right? Like, it would be much easier for black if the queens were traded. And this just made the game much easier for me, right? I was able to take these squares, and my opponent did resign here because, first of all, b4 was coming, right? I was up a piece, maybe I could get this knight here, swing the rook around, swing the rook on the open files, and I'm all set here, right? So I would say, really, the only few mistakes, first of all, maybe the fact that the pawn was pushed here and then pushed to here, right? So maybe at the start you just go for this right away, right? And if I went with this, then you can go with this. And then it will seem like you wouldn't have wasted a move. So yeah, that's the first. Let's see. Then, yeah. Okay, this one's okay. This is okay. And now this was your chance to capitalize on f5, right? Play f4 first. So knight f3, right. Then here I play f5, takes, and now the wisest way to stop this is pushing this pawn here, right? Here, takes, bishop takes. So what do? In this case, I would play b5, right? To create the second front. But that was the plan if g3 happened on the board. And in fact, with this b5, you could develop your bishop here and maybe get the knight back to get the bishop to guard this pawn, which would be good for you. So maybe that was a plus. But unfortunately, the fork had to happen, right? And then the trade of queens wasn't the best. In fact, you had chances of rook check even in this position, right? And then it all got easier for me, right? e5. So other than losing the tempo in the opening, maybe falling for the fork was a real big nail biter, but other than that, it was a really well played game. And hopefully you did learn something. Just remember, Nimzovich, I do recommend knight f3 second move. But if you'd like, comment, subscribe on maybe if you want me to cover the Nimzovich defense from the white side. Thank you.